I was going full screen with it.
Gotcha. We lost Ron.
Rob, I see him.
Rob, I'm sorry. Why?
I'm backstage.
Yeah, there's
Rob,
two Robs. Okay.
Oh yeah, because he needs to have his audio come through one.
We are live.
All right, we are live. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in this world. Welcome back to another great talk. We are coming to you from the homes of BlackFacts. Yes, from the homes. They're split, okay? They're not in one place. But you all know that we come to you every Friday to have conversations about the impact that the Black diaspora has had over the span of our life cycle here in the US. And one of the things that I think is so powerful is that we have modern day folks that were back there when it first started, still active, engaged, and able to come and share their stories with us. One of the things I think is so powerful is, something my grandmother always said, give people their flowers while they live, right? Don't wait till they passed away to celebrate. And so I'm really excited about how we're able to bring folks that are still very much alive and well doing impactful things in the community that have started a revolution in the tech space. So you have us coming to you, Black Tech Talk, with our founders, Ken and Dell. Ken and Dell, how are you all doing?
Doing
all good, all good.
Like this.
Yep. Doing well. Actually,
Excellent.
about to celebrate a birthday tomorrow. So,
Can we get a
59.
happy birthday to you?
All
right.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited. We're always happy to celebrate. And we're not just celebrating an early birthday for Ken. We're celebrating 25 years of BlackFacts being in the tech space, doing incredible work. You all want to learn more about them. If you're not already plugged in and sharing the good news, evangelizing it, please do so. They're at BlackFacts, that's with the S.com. I'm your host, Christiana Russell. You can find out more about the work I do over at We The Plug. That's THA on social media. And you can find us on our website at wetheplug.com. Okay, so we have a wonderful guest that is joining us today. Rob Hillman, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm excited to connect with you today. I know Dell and Ken have a lot of conversations around all the work that you've done and their partnerships with you and friendships with you. And before we get into that, and before I toss it to Ken and Dell, I want to make sure that I highlight a little bit about what we're going to be focusing on today. We're going to be talking specifically about BlackFacts for schools. Dell is going to really deep dive into that. We're going to be talking about how BlackFacts is bringing you facts every single day and how you all can really learn and understand more about all that BlackFacts does. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Dell.
Well, thank you very much, Christiana. Listen, normally at this point, we actually start off with the fact of the day. But today, it's not on our website as the fact of the day, but we would like to share with you something very special. And I'm going to let Ken take the lead as an MIT alum who's very close to this. And he and Rob know a little bit more about the story. Ken, this is your show.
All right. Well, so today is the anniversary of the 1986 Space Shuttle disaster. And the disaster claimed the lives of 7 astronauts, including our MIT alumnus, Ron McNair. So Rob Hillman is one of my schoolmates from MIT, and one of my classmates, excuse me. We've been friends since 1980, and in addition to being an MIT alumnus, was also a fraternity brother of Ron McNair. They're both in Omega Psi Phi fraternity. Some of you folks may know, Dale's in Phi Beta Sigma. I'm in Kappa Alpha Psi. Rob's in Omega Psi Phi. Been friends ever since. And so we just wanted to share, as Black MIT alums, a little insight on Ron McNair, starting off with a pretty popular video. A lot of folks know about it, and it's from Upworthy. You can find it on YouTube. And I'm just going to roll this and then just share a couple of our thoughts about, where were you when?
When he was 9 years old, Ron, without my parents or myself knowing his whereabouts, decided to take a mile walk from our home down to the library, which was, of course, public library, but not so public for black folks when you're talking about 1959. So as he was walking in there, all these folks were staring at him because they were white folk only, and they were looking at him and said, who's this Negro? So he politely positioned himself in line to check out his books. Well, this librarian, she says, this library is not for coloreds. He said, well, I would like to check out these books. She says, young man, if you don't leave this library right now, I'm going to call the police. So he just propped himself up on the counter and sat there and said, I will wait. So she called the police and subsequently called my mother. Police came down, two burly guys come in and say, well, where's the disturbance? She pointed to the little 9-year-old boy sitting up on the counter. He says, what's the problem? So my mother, meanwhile, she was called. She comes down there praying the whole way there. Lord Jesus, please don't let them put my child in jail. And my mother asked the librarian, what's the problem? He wanted to check out the books. And your son shouldn't be down here. And the police officer said, why don't you just give the kid the books? And my mother said, he'll take good care of them. And reluctantly, the librarian gave Ron the books. And my mother said, what do you say? He said, thank you, ma'am. Later on, as youngsters, a show came on TV called Star Trek. Star Trek showed the future where there were black folk and white folk working together. And I looked at it as science fiction, because that wasn't going to happen, really. But Ronald saw it as science possibility. He came up during a time when there was Neil Armstrong and all of those guys. So how was a colored boy from South Carolina wearing glasses, never flew a plane, how was he going to become an astronaut? But Ron was the one who didn't accept societal norms as being his norm. That was for other people. And he got to be aboard his own Starship Enterprise.
So before we went online, we mentioned that we were gonna have this conversation, and Christiana remembered. That's right. Today's the space shuttle disaster, and while many people, hopefully most people, remember that it happened, for the black students at MIT, this was personal because he was one of ours. He Rob and I were about, I think there was 7 black students in our dorm out of like 100 and change, back then. And Ron McNair, rocket scientist, astronaut, pretty much, in that league of, the kind of folks that you want to that you dream about growing up. And so, I just wanted to share, a very brief personal, kind of, where was I when? And I heard the news because, I was working my first job after college in East Cambridge at 222 3rd Street. And I remember I brought a radio work with me. And, I don't even remember the rest of the day because I don't remember if I ended up going home or whatever, but I do remember just being, just thunderstruck. I don't know, Rob, thanks for coming in. Can you share kind of what you were doing then and kind of what that day meant for you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. In the end,
I know you're using your phone, so we're having some audio issues. Kenny. The audio seems like it's not your friend today. Can't hear you.
Yeah, this happened to me when I had the Federal Reserve Bank on earlier this week. What I suggested the officer do was to call in from a different device. So he did. Yeah, I don't know if we can suggest Rob has a different device.
I think that's what he's trying to do, and we have that on the other thing.
You're muted, Dale. We can't hear you. So, I'm sorry, Christina.
Oh. Yeah. I don't think he can see that we can't hear what he is saying. So maybe we'll have to bring him back.
Take him out of the studio.
Maybe if you can text him and message him to let him know, and then we can continue the conversation. Hey, welcome, Martin. We're glad to have you on here.
Right. Well, okay, yeah. I will text him and let him know. But I wanted to actually wrap up this intro on a more happy note, because hopefully Rob saw the text message, because although Ron McNair, is no longer with us, like I said, he was an inspiration, and there's other Black folks, some of our schoolmates and classmates that I just wanted to share, a few things, because a lot of folks don't know, what are Black folks doing? This is me and Rob's classmate, Paula Hammond. Paula is the department head of the MIT Chemical Engineering Department, right? So she's not just a professor, she is the department head. All right. Paula is also on the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. So this is her whitehouse.gov page. Okay. Again, this is, our classmate Paula. Okay. Some other, other folks that, Black folks. So I'm going to go over to NASA, where, lots of folks have recently heard about the Webb telescope. I heard about it for the first time in 2015 because, one of my boys has been working on it since then and before.
Wow.
Also, another one of my boys from Dave Jefferson. This is an old picture from 2007. He's been working at JPL NASA since the 90s. Then another one of our classmates, April Joy Erickson, or who we knew as Prel. She has been at NASA, since a long time ago, and she recently was the 2022 recipient of the Ralph Coates Rowe Medal. That's her right here. There's some of the other folks include Carl Sagan, Shirley Jackson, Bill Nye the Science Guy, Dean Kamen, the Segway inventor. So most folks wouldn't know Charles Vest is a former MIT president. So just, at BlackFacts,
This was all in your class? These were all classmates?
DJ is younger, but Prel is in me and Rob's class. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. As well as Paula. Yeah, they're both in our class. So at BlackFacts, we like to share, Black folks who are blazing trails, going where no Black folks have gone before, which then reminds me one last forgot, because this is from the MIT History Project, McNair.
While you're looking that up, Ken, we have somebody in the chat, David Jenkins, saying that his daughter received a McNair scholarship. So talk about legacy continuing on to flourish other generations.
Yeah, Rob McNair's name is on a whole bunch of things. I was hoping that Rob's audio would be working, so because he might know, some more of the things. Yeah, but I think his audio was still having some issues. This photo, brother playing the sax in space, first astronaut to play a musical instrument in space. So Black folks, we are always blazing trails. We are all right. Black culture not only is worldwide, it is cosmic. Okay, so yes. So anyway, let's I don't know I think we're gonna have to maybe add Rob's comments to record them offline and put them in another video, because
are you there, Rob? Can you hear us? No, he's still having audio issues. I'm going to get this on a poster. I'm going to get this on a shirt, a poster. Like him playing the sax. It's the saxophone. It's really small. I can't see it in space. That's fire. He looks like the Fresh Prince. This is the point I was making last week when I was talking about how to kind of debunk the ideology that is being pushed of how you look and categorizing you in a box. We look and sound in so many different ways and still show up with brilliance. And I just love this because it's another reflection of, it doesn't matter what I look like and how I dress. I can be in a hoodie. It doesn't take away from my intelligence and my impact that I have on the world. Wow.
That's right. So thank you all for letting us share that. I'm going to pass it back over to Dale.
So actually, everything that you have talked about is an excellent segue into what our focus is today. Today, we're really here to talk about BlackFacts and our offering for schools. We are just beginning to do outreach, and more schools are embracing our content because it gives their students, especially urban schools, it gives their students the opportunity to see themselves reflected in history. That's what's really inspiring. And so when we, at the beginning of this, just began talking about, Ron McNair and his impact, and here we have a bunch of Black technologists who were impacted by him and are able to see themselves, as capable of doing something special. Well, we at BlackFacts want to share those stories. The whole purpose of BlackFacts for schools is to be able to, as much as possible, allow schools, especially schools with an urban student body, to be able to debunk some of the historical erasure, but also to be able to celebrate the achievements of people of color, where they're able to see our stories and the kids are able to see stories in a way that is accessible and consumable to young people. Young people today are really into videos. They are very much on social media, and they're not really excited about opening up a history book. Even as they're being required to take remote classes because of COVID, even as, they're dealing with, politics and poverty and all the things that they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. The one thing that kids today really embrace is the sharing of video content and the fact that you can tell a story in a video so much more succinctly than you could necessarily in a history book. What makes the videos even more impressive are the imagery. For students to be able to see and not just hear about or not just read in a textbook, but to see photos of people that look like them and to see the successes and the achievements of people that look like them gives them a chance to say, you know what, I can do that too. It's like the first Black president. No Black person, if you asked him 20 years ago if there could ever be a Black president, would have believed it could happen. And now it has happened. And it inspires people to now pursue even greater heights. And here we have a Black vice president, and who knows when we might have a woman president coming up. At the end of the day, you can't picture the possible future if you can't see it. And BlackFacts for Schools allows schools to let their kids experience history in a new way. When we talk about this idea of a metaverse, we're not at the metaverse yet, although BlackFacts is looking to head there, but we are taking our history and putting our stories into modules that can be eventually converted to NFTs, but more important, they can be consumed on any platform. This is what we're offering as part of our package. And I want to step through and explain a little bit about more of the offering so that anyone that is a teacher who's listening, if you have any questions, please post them, in the comments section, because we will try to answer any questions that teachers may have, because we really want to make sure that as we move into Black History Month, you get a chance to really see and experience what this offering is. So let me start by saying, okay, BlackFacts for Schools, what is it that we are giving you that is more than what you could get on the website? Ken, if you could go to the BlackFacts for Schools page. There are two things that as a educator, you would receive from our BlackFacts for Schools packaging. And you should know that our pricing is structured to make it as low cost and efficient as possible, because as a mission-driven organization, part of our mission is to make sure that Black history is shared. And so we have the BlackFacts Educational Foundation, which subsidizes any of the costs to make it as cost-effective as possible for schools versus corporations. The first thing that you receive as a subscriber is you get access to all of these little widgets. You see each one of those boxes there on the screen that Ken is taking you through? They are our own BlackFacts player.
Time, brief interjection. Sorry. Another MIT ad. Reggie Van Lee from our LGBTQ Pioneers is another Black MIT alum. Proceed.
Well, see, I'm going to have to start pulling stuff when I see someone that's a Sigma also, just so you know. I went to BU, so I'm not sure how many of our folks are going to be on there, but I know there's some Sigmas in there. Anyway.
John Lewis.
Exactly. As the first offering is what we call our website widget, which is a plugin that can be plugged into any website, whether it's Wix, WordPress, or just a straight HTML website, and it lets you display intersectional cultural stories and historical stories to your audience. This plugin only takes 2 lines of code, and it can show up anywhere. And it's a plug-and-play solution in that once you install it one time for a specific series, every day a new video in that series is played. An example of that could be at one of the other schools. I believe Ken had one of the PS 279, which is one of New York public schools. This is their website, still in progress, but they've already incorporated our website widgets into the school website. As part of that, they have actually picked videos that are the fact of the day, so you can put more than one of our series onto the website, and also our historical series, our educational series, which actually has videos of key events and milestones in history going back to African empires. If we can jump back to our, yes, thank you very much. The other thing that is special and unique for our BlackFacts for Schools offering is that not only do you get this plug and play widget that you can install on your school website, but you also get direct access to every single one of the videos. Our library is over 700 videos at this time. You as a teacher may want to plug the videos directly into your lesson plan or to your online school portal or to a PowerPoint presentation. We don't make this offering to organizations, but this is specific for schools because as teachers are doing more and more online education, they need resources to tell these stories. And these stories are not always going to be about a Black historical event. The stories could be about inspiring women of color. And if you want to share those stories with your student body, you not only have the plugin to have that show up on your website, but you have access to videos that talk about inspiring Black women and the achievements that they have contributed to math, science, music. We have an entire series just focusing on Black women. Some of them you know, and many of them the students do not know, that tell their stories. And these are video shorts that tell their stories in 2 to 5 minutes, talk about the achievements they've had and the impact they've had on the world. And we make that available to all of your students via a plugin or a direct video that you can incorporate. Other topics that we cover, and this is one that actually came from the students, was the Black history in America. Now, we had an educational series already where we covered everything from African empires all the way to the Black Power movement. But the Black history in America timeline, as Ken likes to say, goes from 1619 to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It takes us on the journey of all the historical milestones that are often part of a Black history or social studies curriculum, although some of them seem to be disappearing more and more these days, and tells each one of those stories in a 2 to 2.5 minute long video that you can have as an adjunct to your lesson plan, because we are technologists, not teachers or historians. We let you ask the questions of the students, but these videos at least tell the stories in a consumable fashion. In our educational series, there were some very key videos beyond the timelines that you see here that we thought were important, and it's part of our growing library. We actually start with, with empires of Africa that people may never have heard of, because most of our students today know about Egypt, but they do not know of the greatness of Black history and the different historical empires that we helped initiate. They do not know that the richest man who ever lived was a Black man. So we have stories that cover all of these and allow you to share our rich cultural history with your students. And again, these are all video shorts, so they can be shared on social media. They can be easily uploaded and managed, on your portal, educational school portal, or you can share the link in a PowerPoint presentation. In our series when we cover, the educational series, we focus on some key events like Juneteenth. We actually had 3 videos on Juneteenth because we had videos on Juneteenth before it was a holiday. And then all of a sudden it became a holiday. So we had to update the video and say, wait a minute, guess what? Now it's a national holiday, because one of the things that we were complaining about before it was a holiday was that only Texas recognized it as a holiday. So we recreated that. We have videos on Black Wall Street that talks about the Tulsa Massacre. We have videos on the Harlem Renaissance, which was a transformational period of history that suddenly Black people felt empowered with our music, our shops, our culture. It's our own little mecca that we control. It's like recreation of Black Wall Street, but in Harlem. And so we tell these stories in a way that are readily consumable and includes imagery, sometimes music, that are specific to the period so that it can engage today's youth. And we hope that the teachers and schools that subscribe to our content take the time to fully leverage a library of 700 videos that is going to grow to 1,000 videos, by the end of March or April. We are the Netflix of Black historical and intersectional cultural videos. And we're really excited about the kind of content that we make available. When we began, we started with the basics, which were, our Black history heroes, which is people everyone knows. Martin Luther King, it's like when you start asking people about Black history, they immediately think of MLK. Well, we said, you know what? There's some heroes that are alive today. Amanda Gorman, is transforming the world. And as far as we're concerned, even as young as she is, she's already a hero. Obviously we have the Barack Obamas and the Kamala Harrises, and we're going to continue to grow this library of our Black history heroes because these people, past and present, are changing the way we are viewed globally. And we want to make sure that their stories are told and captured and preserved, because part of our goal is to preserve the future of Black history and protect our culture by leveraging superior technology. And we are making sure that we give this technology to our schools because the feedback from them has really helped us improve the content that we have. We actually get feedback from our subscribers that talk about different things they would like us to include, other videos that we haven't thought about. We introduced a series on Afro-Latino trailblazers because, as you know, people of color come in all shapes and colors. And we have been changing things, from Latinx cultures to Asian cultures. We have series on the icons of Black music, where we talk about the biggest export from America is Black culture and Black music. And we want to talk about the people that made those changes, and so we are excited to make sure that these stories we make available to schools and we make available to teachers to include them in their lesson plans. Now, I've talked a little bit about why the pricing is structured the way that it is. It's a subsidized pricing. We make it as inexpensive as possible. For schools and nonprofits, our packaging is actually $100 a month or $1,000 a year to have access to our video library to plug in the widgets onto your website. The funny thing is that the first schools that we shared this with, the social studies teacher came back and said, I really love your widgets because they tell a good message, and they show the diversity that is part of our student body. But I don't have any control over what videos play. And I'm curious, could we get access to the videos directly? So we actually had to include a new package that is only available to schools where you get access to the videos themselves. And that is a $200 a month or $2,000 for the year renewable subscription basis. Again, this cost is subsidized by our BlackFacts Educational Foundation because, as I stated at the beginning, we are a mission-driven organization, and part of our mission is to make sure we share Black history and Black culture and that we control our messaging. The last thing that I want to do is tell you a little bit about what we have gotten back in terms of feedback for how to use the tools that we make available to you. Obviously, you can plug the widget directly into your school website. You can have it on one or multiple pages. As Ken has showed you with the PS279, they actually have more than one widget. You have total control over which series you want to showcase. You get access to all of our library. So all 700 videos are available to you as part of your subscription. And because of your subscription as a school, any new videos that we create in any particular series, you automatically get access to them. And as we stand up new series, because we're working on an entire series on Native American icons, we are working on a HBCU showcase where we're celebrating historically Black colleges and universities. We're working on a series on inspiring, Black professionals in the health and medicine field. And we're getting more and more feedback from schools saying, hey, what about STEM? We want to talk about our scientists, so we want to make sure we have a series just focusing on Black disruptors in STEM. All of that you get access to. And how can you leverage it? Well, first, as I mentioned, you can plug it into your website. But more importantly, because you have direct access to the videos, you can either upload the videos or plug the link into the videos, which we will give you, into your online portals. You can share the link with your students as part of homework assignments or emails so that the students can quickly click on it. You can actually, because all these videos are hosted on YouTube and can be played, you can have a Black History Month celebration where you pick videos that you want to showcase and play in the auditorium so that you can share those stories with your entire student body. At the end of the day, we're finding out more and more teachers are saying, what else can I do with this? And we're always open to hearing feedback from you, our constituents, not just of new video content, but of new ways that we can leverage the videos. As we mentioned, we are not educators. So we do not have a rating system. We know that it's, the schools are K through 4, 5 through 8, in high school, lower, middle, and high school. It is up to you as the teacher to take the time to look through our video library, play the videos that we want, and decide whether or not it is relevant to your students and to the topic that you want to share with them. The one thing you should know is that I believe it was beginning in October, we introduced our Timbuktu, the voice of Timbuktu, which is our AI system that does all the content aggregation behind the scenes. Our AI system is now a narrator. So you have a computer generated voice like Siri on your phone, So our new videos, as they become available, and as we go back and start looking at some of our older videos, we'll be adding voice to them. But all of our new videos include a narrative. So not only can you see and read about historical events and facts and people, but you'll be able to listen to them. We've been experimenting with our own podcast as well, and we are not sure whether or not schools are interested in something like that, but more and more people like the idea of being able to hear historical stories because they might pick that up while they're driving or just be more convenient, and it makes it more readily available to younger students. Because today, if you want to learn about the Emancipation Proclamation, you watch our video and you have to be able to read what we're talking about. Tomorrow, if you want to learn about Emancipation Proclamation, you just hit the play button and Timbuktu will narrate what happened with Emancipation Proclamation and why it was important. So these are all things that we are working on, and we're continuing to try to improve our offering. If you go to blackfacts.com/schools, there's a little diversity widget request form. You simply fill out that form. We will have someone get back in touch with you. You'll immediately get an email talking about, what is included in the offering, but then you're able to schedule a meeting with us one-on-one. It usually takes only 15 minutes to half an hour to answer any questions that you may ask. One of the questions that we do get from New York schools is BlackFacts, and the organization that represents it, a Department of Education vendor? Because public schools, you have to be a DOE vendor. And the answer is yes, we are. And we are a sole source vendor, because oftentimes for school districts, You have to send out bids for different products and services. Since we are the only source in the internet and the world for this content in this structure, we are a sole source vendor. We want to make our stories available and accessible to students, teachers, and everyone in the world. And through the contributions and assistance from the people that are supporting our foundation, we've made it as cost effective as possible. And for you, teachers and educators, we want to work with you. We want to get your feedback on new ideas. We're always looking to get better at what we do. We want to add to our stories based upon lessons that you think, hey, you should have a video about this person or about that person. We're always open to getting new ideas and expanding our offering. We just thank you for taking the time to look at blackfacts.com/schools and signing up. And we hope that at least we've answered some of the questions that you have had, because we've gotten lots of people signing up, but they do ask questions, and I tried to make sure I covered most of them as part of this demonstration. I don't know if there are any other questions, but that was a mouthful.
Wow, that's very impactful, the work. We have Josephine McDonald saying this is very interesting. She has a background in education, her doctorate in education. We have Nancy Smith shouting out great. So it sounds like folks are really excited about all that you all are doing in this space. I did have a question for you when you were talking about how the schools could access and get something that was a little bit more niche down, where they had more autonomy over the videos and how they access them. Is it still the same way that they would access them with the widgets, or would this be a different portal that they would get access to? Like, how does that work?
No, we send them a link. Well, they get two things. They get a file that says, here is where you can find these specific videos. And so there's 700 videos, so it's a large library. Mm-hmm. So they get access to a file that says, oh, you want an Emancipation Proclamation? Well, it's broken up into 3 parts. Here are the 3 videos. And you just click on that link. They'll be taken to a location where all the files are, and this is only accessible to schools, and they can download the specific video that they're interested in. Once they have the video downloaded, then they can play it on their own platform and do what they like.
Nice. And my second question was actually more specific to you and Ken. Is there an offering that is attached to this program for schools that allow for you and Ken to come in and do talks with the school?
So that's interesting, because we have actually had requests along those lines. And from a virtual standpoint, yes, there's not any specific offering as part of the BlackFacts for Schools, but for Black History Month, we are always open to participating in any specific Black History Month event, as long as we can fit the timing on our schedule, where we can talk about our history as Black technologists, the things that we have done. Ken can go on how we all began and now how and where we are, today, but how technology opened up the doors for us. Ken was able to quit his first job because he learned how to code. And he realized, I could make as much money, selling license to this piece of software that I wrote as I could working at this job. So we would love to share those stories, and Ken can jump in.
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting. Yeah. Actually, I taught myself how to code. Distinction being, I did not rely on anyone else. And when my job opted to not do tuition reimbursal, if I took courses, I said, okay. And I taught myself and got them to agree to not have any rights to anything that I made. And I make that distinction because,
that is important, by the
way. Technology, for me, for sure, and hopefully for more folks as we start moving into the Web3 world, is the biggest enabler of the individual that I believe has ever been available in human history. And so, yeah, so there's that. For schools in New York, I would be happy to come and visit because I am a son, and repatriated resident of Bed-Stuy. Right? Sometimes say the neighborhood formerly known as Do or Die Bed-Stuy. In fact, I have my denim hat that says "Do or Die" that I'll wear. But seriously, guys, I built all the tech behind BlackFacts. Guys who build online systems like this aren't generally thought of coming from neighborhoods like the old Bed-Stuy, but we are. I'm going to get. There's a brother who invented the animation language called Lingo. He lives in Brooklyn. Who I'm going to try to get him on our show next month. Macromedia Director. Anyone who remember it was in the 90s. Macromedia Director was top of the heap for computer animation stuff. Brother John Thompson, invented the Lingo language. So we have always been there. We are here today. And what we're doing, BlackFacts, is to make sure that we are right at the front of everything in tech tomorrow.
Wow. And that actually continues to, I think, be the common theme for we lost each other. We're back. Martin, you had Martin, can you hear?
I think he's on mute.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
He's on mute. Okay, you all can hear me. Okay. I wanted to just kind of bring Martin into this conversation, but maybe there's audio issues there. We also had a guest that was on Rob Hill, and he had to fall off due to audio issues. But I know that
Martin's here. He's back. He was on mute. That's all.
Martin, okay, great. I wanted to get your thoughts on this, get some feedback from you on all the great work that is being done with the schools. I know you're a father, even though you're a father of a little one that is not quite ready to even crawl yet. But what are your thoughts about all of this?
I think that we've had a somewhat of a content desert, like we talk about food deserts. And I think it happens every 10 years or so. I, for years, was talking about Dr. Naeem Akbar's books. And then Dr. Kwanzaa Kujufu out of Chicago, his books and his curriculum. And then before them, J.A. Rogers' books on history. And none of those books are, well, as far as I know, none of those books are in mainly mainstream urban cities. So Dr. Kwanzaa Kujufu books and his curriculum is upstate New York, and it's not in Harlem, it's not in Bed-Stuy, it's not in Oakland. It's I think they may be in Chicago because he's based out of Chicago. But anyway, so there's a unique opportunity to provide content to school systems that is not a heavy load where they have to have additional equipment, they have to have shipping, they have to have a place to store it. All that's taken care of. So I think that one, we have no issue with content dearth, and two, the unique time period we live in is that we can contribute to this content. So a lot of times, our family, like for instance, did a conversation with the Federal Reserve Bank. One of the people that worked on the call, this was on an app called Clubhouse, mentioned that her grandmother or aunt had deposited money in what was called a Freedmen's Bank. And they had the actual passbook, but they actually had $10,000 in the bank when the bank went under. So they wanted to know what they thought should be done with the passbook. And of course, the person from the Fed was saying, well, Smithsonian African American Museum. But my point is to say, like, there are pieces of the Black story that is very much a tapestry. However, a lot of times it's siloed within a family or a community, and it doesn't get really told outward. And I think what we also have is a unique time period where we can share our history, contact BlackFacts, and relatively quickly, they're able to turn around a video based on, once they fact check, it's called BlackFacts for a reason. Once it's fact checked, then they're able to turn around a video, 2 minute, 3 minute video about your family's history or your family's place in history, in Black history. And I think that's also something that's very unique. Similar to where I think Dale said Black compared it to Netflix. I tend to feel like it's more of a video Wikipedia because Netflix is looking at a profit margin or profit center. BlackFacts is looking at the word fact. This happened to Black people's fact. That's it. Whereas the other profit centers are looking at what are people going to share and be addicted to. So it may not be a fun fact to know that how many Black people were killed at the hands of a particular slave plantation in Jamaica. But this particular slave plantation in Jamaica significantly made a dent or contributed to Jamaica's current history. And so that's a fact. Whereas Netflix is probably pass on that as a movie. BlackFacts will post it as a fact with the information and all the receipts. So I think we have a unique time period to impact our narrative. And I know you guys started this. I know we talked about education and schools, but as of all things, there apparently will be a teacher shortage come September and August. And so what we consider schools may change a lot. And I was not happy to learn, but nevertheless, it is what it is. Some of the same powers that be are setting up a ton of virtual schools. And when I say the powers that be, they're the powers that be that got paid under No Child Left Behind. I'll just put it that way. So if you do your research on who got the first check for education, for-profit education on No Child Left Behind in early 2000, and you start to look at some of the companies that are setting up these virtual schools, and they're giving teachers better pay, and teachers don't have to worry about a mask mandate or a safety. They can be at home and do virtual training or virtual learning rather. So I think that BlackFacts is going to be an interesting sweet spot because while we may not have in-person teaching, I say may not, but there's going to be a just like we have a supply chain issue, we're going to have a teacher shortage issue particularly in certain states. May not be, like New York may not, California may not, but Texas will, Florida will. I'm not sure about Georgia, but there are folks that are saying we're out, we're not coming back. See you, bye, gotta go. And they're choosing virtual schools who are paying them double what they would make in person without the headache. So BlackFacts will be an interesting. It may turn out to be, we may pivot to a public for access to the facts right from the website. So it's interesting to see what may happen, but we have the repository, and that's what's good. And we also have the audience. That's also what's good. And we happen to be the oldest site to do this. That's also what's good. So I think there isn't anything stopping BlackFacts and the distribution of this content to the audience that needs it, no matter what vehicle is chosen. So whether it's directly to a school system or it's to a virtual learning, or, I see Black people in my head. I see Black people forming education pods, and the whites did it during 2020, and the conversation was Black people can't afford it. Black people who are teaching their children at home have increased 13% from last year to this year. So it was 3% teaching, now it's 16%. The largest at-home school group on Facebook is Black. So I only see us going up more, and those families are going to want to going to get, because even with virtual learning, there may be a issue with teaching critical race theory, quote unquote, which I don't even accept that crap, but it's teaching Black history. So
Well, Martin, because you mentioned critical race theory, I mean, someone just asked about the fact that critical race theory is about BlackFacts being excluded from public curriculum.
mhm.
And that is so much the truth. And I want to make sure that people are clear that at BlackFacts, we are not anti anyone. What we are is pro us. And so we tell our stories, and sometimes they're not easy to digest. But
Yes.
part of being inclusive is actually knowing the stories of other people, being informed about them. And so we share our stories. Yes, there were things that happened in the past that were unpleasant, and yet we still rise.
Yeah, you know what? You know what's interesting about that comment, though? The folks who are against critical race theory, they already know that.
Yeah, I think we all know they know that.
They already
So
know that.
with 2 minutes left in our show, or just shy of 2 minutes left in our show, what is the action item that you're wanting our listening folks to take away?
So, as we say all the time, we want you to just visit BlackFacts and share it with your network. BlackFacts.com, if you go to the website, you will find a wealth of information, things that you never knew that you didn't know. And we're continuing to expand and grow our library. And so we really want people to take the time to just see what we have and share it, first and foremost. For schools, which has been the focus of this discussion, and Martin, I'm telling you, we're reaching out to a number of Black homeschooling networks. They're popping up all over the place because they're looking for content to educate their children. But for schools, we want you to go to blackfacts.com/schools and sign up. At least take a look at what's there. You can see what's in the widget, but you can also, what's been playing in the background, by the way, is our Black History in America timeline. This is one of our longer videos. It's actually about 11 minutes long. But in the Black History in America series, each one of those milestones that you see in this long video, we go into a little more detail about each one. And so we want, visitors to explore the site. Go to blackfacts.com/videos and you can see a library of all of our videos. We always say it's not just about you knowing what we have, but about you sharing it with your network. And that's the big thing that we want to ask everyone to do. Please share what you've learned today, what you've heard today with our network, with your network, because that's how we're going to keep our message going. And that's how we're going to continue to grow BlackFacts and inform our community and inspire our youth and share it with the world. Thanks again.
One final thought, shameless self-promotion time, right? Dale, stand up, stand up.
Oh yeah, by the way, we have these great hoodies and t-shirts for sale right now.
Merch on the website. Go to the website.
Yes, if you go to the website, you can purchase some new products. So yes, and we're going to continue to add our product offering. This is just our Black History Heroes design. We'll be adding more over time, as Ken shows you the swag page.
Probably this weekend, we're going to have Harriet Tubman up on there, and the mug. I don't know if you have your BlackFacts mug nearby.
No, I don't even have it. It's upstairs. But yeah, so we have more stuff that is available on the site. If you believe in what we're doing and support us, hey, then buy a t-shirt. Every time you buy a t-shirt, it's helping support us continuing as two Black technologists protecting and preserving our history and culture using technology.
And also remember, for those of you all have connections to media, whether it's digital, commercial, it doesn't matter. But if you have access to journalists, to anyone that's looking for stories to tell, please reach out to Dell and Ken. We're pushing to get their story out. They need to be in the face of the larger community, not just in our small groups. So you all can help in many different ways. I want to thank everyone for joining us today and your comments. We see you. We thank you. Please reshare this live wherever you're watching it, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. Reshare it because, again, we're able to reach a larger audience. And the goal here is to get BlackFacts information out into the masses so that we can continue to grow and expand the work they're doing. I want to thank Dell and Ken for having this space for us to meet every day. Martin, thanks so much always for your wisdom and insight. Rob, we're sorry we lost you, but we look forward to having you back again real soon. Thank you all so much for tuning in.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. The slow wave is amazing.
I'm going to have to drop off, guys, because I'm supposed to be in another meeting.
I got a grant writing meeting. I don't know why I got lost right now. It was the illusion of your